looking for a place to rest in, and probably a quest to take. As you both go down to the main street of this small village, you notice right here an establishment. It is a tavern, which most likely will hold two things you two adventurers are both looking for: refreshments, probably some rest while eating, and a quest.
Oh, look! It looks like there's a tavern over that way.
Oh, finally, I can get some drinks. Lord, I've gone too long without a nice mug of booze.
It's only been a couple days.
You know me. Look,
So true.
less talking, more drinking, you know?
Just remember, don't break anything this time.
Look, I've got 10 gold. Surely I won't break anything too expensive.
Yeah, that's what you said, and you ended up putting us in debt.
Oh, hush. Look, I want to talk about what I had to do to get out of that.
Oh, so you're saying I shouldn't talk about how they had you dancing around in a dress.
It looks stylish. Look, are we just going to keep talking here, or are we going to move?
I mean, I imagine this taking place as we're going towards it, so.
That makes... Oh gosh, I've got to remember how to do all this. Snap to center. Okay.
Okay, as you both go up in front of the establishment and open the door to enter, you see. Hold on, let me move the let me move the roof out of the way.
The entire roof comes off and moves somewhere else.
You see a very lively tavern, as also a very huge building. This is very the size of this entire thing doesn't seem that big actually from the outside. But as soon as you open the door, you see a very busy tavern full of people. Some showing off their treasures to each other. Most of them that you see right now with inside the tavern are also fellow adventurers. Some of them showing off their pure brawn or telling tales of their story to uh, the folk who are also in the tavern, just there to listen to their stories or gander at their treasures and their finds. Standing out, there is actually something slightly different in this establishment. It actually, by the door, you are kind of greeted, even though they don't really mind the two of you by the door. You see these two guards by the door right here. And they're just observing everyone inside the establishment while also guarding the door. Besides those two, you also notice a heavily armored and armed man right here, and they seem to be talking to a very distraught and panicked noble sitting on a table alone, eating a very expensive meal. And while you look around the place, the bartender from very far away, like the other side of the room, sees you and basically gestures you to come in and come over.
As they're walking in, as they get just a little bit out of earshot, Favid whispers over to Maar, and it's like, these guys have bigger axes than the other place.
I'm willing to bet that those axes are compensating for something.
I forget how to make that movement happen.
And Maar kind of maneuvers her way around the chairs and whatnot.
As you
I'm just
enter the
I'm just gonna
establishment and
drag myself
go,
over there.
like, as you both enter the establishment and go around the to get to the counter, almost everyone quiet down as some of them stare at the two of you. Because you notice in the crowd is mostly made up of elves, half elves, and humans. You are the only two races that are actually present and obviously standing out in the tavern.
I mean,
Some of
very
them,
obviously standing out considering both of us are at least
yeah,
7 feet tall.
yeah. Some female folk and or other adventurers stare at the both of you and whisper to each other.
Uh,
And
Sorry. I was gonna say that Favid kind of like nudges Maar a bit and says, "At least they're not throwing rocks at us."
and as one of the
Well, the night is still young.
as one of the barmaids come back to the counter to put back a basically dirtied plate and hand it over to the bartender. Soon realizing that you are already at the counter, uh, they cautiously approach and leave the plate there at the counter and grab a different plate uh, that already has prepared food on it and hastily darts back to the crowd, accidentally nudging the adventurer holding uh, holding their group's treasure and obviously apologizing profusely.
Favid chuckles a little bit, says, "Poor man, probably not paid enough to be careful."
Well, not everyone can live the lap of luxury of not actually having to, you know, work for a living, I guess. Well, I guess that's not the right way to put it.
I'd say he works quite hard. Maybe they expect too much out of him with a place as busy as this. Look, if I had
As they continue,
if I
go
had
on.
if I had a little more pieces of gold in my pouch over here, I might give him a couple.
As you continue talking
Let's see
about
how the service is first before we start tipping.
as we continue to talk about the barmaid, the bartender leans in onto the counter. Ah, well, if you're willing to give your coins away, might as well, buy a few things from us,
I'm always part.
much like everyone else.
I'm always willing to part with a good few coins to get myself a nice glass of cold Swordian brandy.
Ah, I see. Let me see what I can get. I'm certain that I actually have a few of those around. And the bartender goes down onto the counter, reaching for a few things, looking for something, uh, As he goes back up to the counter, he's holding up 4 bottles, 2 in each hand, and he places them onto the counter. Well, unfortunately, we don't have the we don't have the bottle you were asking for, but you could pick within these 4 for now as I guess a substitute for what you want. And in front of you are 4 bottles of varying heights. The biggest one is has a tinted red glass, and it it is marked on the front with a lion's head, and engraved and painted as well above that sign. It says, uh, what did I write this to be?
Oh dear.
There we go. it it reads Maine on top of that lion insignia, and on the next one, slightly smaller bottle. It's much clearer glass with a insignia of what you could only assume to be uh, a representation or a symbol representing what looks like a crystal orb. And on the top of it, engraved and also written down, uh, blackish or black ink or blackish paint, is psionic. So there's Maine and psionic, and then there's two tiny bottles, like on the other side, where 2 tiny bottles right next to each other. Both are uh, both are black, and the symbols on each. Shut up, phone. Symbols on the symbols on each actually are slightly different, because both are roses, but the other one has a white rose and the other one has a blue rose. And on top of the white rose symbol, tiny black uh, bottle is named Death's Kiss, and the other one with the blue rose is named Abyssal Kiss.
David looks at Maar as if expecting her to choose.
You're the one who's gonna drink it, not me. But if you want me to choose,
What?
Before you actually pick your choice, I would actually, I guess, give you some hindsight or insight into these drinks. Currently, the biggest bottle, Maine, is, if you want a hard kicking, but a not so long lasting effect on each drink. I don't know if you want that. Like, how do I put this? as the symbol suggests, like actually getting jumped and mauled by a lion for each sip. And the other one, psionic. This thing is popular for how it basically could assimilate to whoever is drinking this, the sensation of facing with a mind flayer, as rumors have been saying. A lot of people who dare to drink this are mostly really intelligent, or are resistant to, or have known and are capable of dealing with psychics. And these two in front of you, Death's Kiss and Abyssal Kiss, are very, I guess in cases you could call them like really strong and potent. That's why they are handed out in very small doses. As of now, the rumors say there's no difference between the two because I guess there is one distinct difference where apparently the other one uh, makes you, the other one drags you, I guess, as they say, to the deeper depths of hellish chaos, and then the other one gives you the same sensation as people put it, sweet release of death. And if you are going to ask why I'm referring to these things according to how people call them, it's because these are just new to this. These are just newly shipped in. So I'm just going on of how the people and the other adventurers that are currently in this establishment have basically heard of them. This place doesn't really get much new drinks besides those typical barley, those beer, gin, and sometimes an occasional red wine if a noble, to say, like the establishment. But yeah, currently these are the newest ones. Much like the same drink that you mentioned earlier, those are actually really rare and sometimes new to this place.
David smiles as he looks at the selection of drinks. He puts his hands together and says, "Well, a mercenary's always down for trying the new liquor of whatever land he may find. I think I'll take the main."
Ah, absolutely perfect choice. And he grabs all the three bottles in one hand and puts them down under the counter and he was about to grab obviously a cup for you, but before he does, he comes back up. Only his head pops up from under the counter and asks, "Will you be a shot? Will you be doing a shot or a mug?"
He looks over at Maar, looks back at the bartender and says, "A mug," with a big smile.
Maar rolls her eyes.
And well, mug. That is a great choice because currently, since there are some barbarians sometimes entering my establishment, we've come to create our own custom mugs. So currently, we have the original size of mug that you usually can grasp with just one hand. Then there's our large mug. In cases of weapons, you can hold it between. You can kind of shift between holding it with two hands or one hand, depending on how many you put in it. And we have the barbarian's mug, as how we call it now, because as he puts it onto the counter, he's holding it with both of his hands, and that's not enough to fill the handle. As you can see, it's almost half a barrel.
How big are his hands in comparison to Favid's?
He's a commoner, so he doesn't have muscle strength, and his hands are, well, compared to a Goliath, his hands are tiny, I guess, like small.
To be fair, many things are small compared to a Goliath.
Yeah, so
Maar can see that Favid is very clearly eyeing the massive barbarian mug.
what will it be?
Maar just sighs. Don't expect me to take care of your drunk ass.
Meanwhile, outside there seems to be some sort of elephant attack.
Don't mind that.
Favid points to the barbarian mug and says, "That's quite a fitting mug. I'll take it."
Okay, as you say so. And then he grabs the two other mugs, the normal mug and the large mug, and puts it under the counter. And then he comes back with two more bottles of Maine. So that's 3 bottles on the counter. Our measurements here isn't based on pint now, since you've chosen the barbarian mug. How many bottles?
He says, "How many bottles fill the mug?"
Uh, I would like to remind you that each bottle is... Well, let me check. Yeah, that is correct. 2 bottles count as about... Not 2 bottles. A bottle counts as 3 gold pieces.
Favid looks at his pouch. It looks a little bit empty. There's only 10 pieces in there. He looks at the bottles again. Thinks. Actually, I'm gonna do a thing here. I'm gonna roll something to see, make this choice for me.
Okay.
The
It's an odd or even dice. Okay.
My dice is falling under my bed. Jeez. Okay. 2.
And that would mean...
6 gold pieces.
Oh. Okay, as you put in 6 gold pieces onto the counter and slide it toward the bartender grabs 2 bottles, and with swift fingers, he basically just takes off the cork off of the 2 bottles with ease, and pour them down both at the same time onto the huge drum, half a barrel like bug, and it's just uh,
Yeah, sure. That is exactly what liquid pouring sounds like.
No, you know that sound when like the air is
Yes, I know.
yeah.
And you see that the mug slowly fills up, and it's not even half of the barbarian's mug.
Favid looks slightly disappointed and then remembers that his wallet would be in dire shambles, more so than it already is if he had paid for more.
And the bartender puts down
size.
the two bottles under the counter and grabs the corks and your payment.
Neat.
Well, if that's your drink, what would I get for you? He takes a while and hesitates. What would I get for you, ma'am?
Maar, that's you.
Yeah, I know. I just find it funny.
She's just quiet.
I'm sorry. I just find it funny that this guy's like, ma'am? Question mark.
I mean, he's never seen a dragonborn before, so.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hmm. Well, unlike him, I don't plan on getting drunk. So I'll just have something light. Besides, someone's gonna have to look after him.
A light drink or light food?
I'll just have some food for now.
I like
It's been quite a journey.
I'd like to say, as she's saying somebody's gonna have to take care of him, he's already tipping the thing and like drinking it.
Okay, roll me a quick con save as the bartender calls for the barmaid right over here
Yes.
and shout, Miriam, okay, can you prepare us something light for our new customer right here? And the barmaid, Miriam, darts her stare to the bartender and darts their stare towards you two and gently nods as she grabs a few ingredients from the barrels on the corner of this tavern and puts them in her basket, and also grabs a clean bucket of water and goes on to. I forgot to add a kitchen for this place, but I'll just say that they went to the kitchen after. Let's just put them out of the fucking map. There we go. Just chuck them right
So,
right outside the map.
so you want me to roll a con save, right?
Yep, roll a con save.
Okay, so for
A DC 12 con save.
so I just click the Constitution number, right? That's
Yep,
okay.
and
I've rolled exactly a 12.
Okay, you save. As you take a huge, I'm assuming as you take a huge chug, your first huge chug on the barbarian mug on the main, chugging in almost all of it. I'm only assuming. The main beer already takes effect, and as described, according to the rumors heard by the bartender, it feels as if your jugular and your chest has been pounced on by a huge and heavy creature and clawed and gnawed on, as you basically as it basically burns on your throat, and you feel it heat up your chest.
His eyes are definitely widening, as I'd say as he's only just passed the thing. He looks like really like in shock for a second, still surprised, and after about maybe 30 seconds, he's just like he lets out a breath and he looks okay.
Oh,
That is strong.
well, I guess the rumors are true then. At least you're not already dropping down from your chair, because as far as I could remember, half of the rumors were about other adventurers daring their fellow companions to drinking such a thing, and then After one shot, they pass out. And that's one shot glass, not the barbarian mug.
Thankfully, a lot of exotic liquors have trained me to have a bit of a tolerance. Still, that's one hell of a drink you've got there.
Maar under her breath. Not to mention, they're probably a lot smaller than you.
I hate how Roll20 is slowing down right now. The barmaid comes back and from the kitchen, and she slides in freshly cooked food, and it is basically one cup of mashed potatoes with glistening and very aromatic gravy on top of it. Don't mind the background music. Don't mind the background sound coming from my side. And right beside it are two sausages. Excuse that person. And on
Plus
that
the random
similar,
person in the background.
So
and
one of the tavern guests has just caught some allergies from something they didn't agree with.
and on that same huge plate is also a cup, which has clean, drinkable water. And as she slides oh my gosh, as she slides the plate onto the counter, the bartender, oops, hastily goes over to that side and grabs it and brings it to you, Maar. And the bartender, with a gleam or with a smile on their face, tells you that will be 1 gold for a meal.
Alrighty, here you go. And she goes into her pouch and takes out a single gold and gives it to him.
All in the day's work. And he grabs the gold coin and puts it in his pocket. Well, as you, I hope you enjoy your meal and your drink. I'll be right back. I need to go on and continue or do something, actually. And the bartender goes to the kitchen with the barmaid, and as the door closes, you hear water flowing and dishes starting to get cleaned up.
Okay. So Mars just going to eat her meal while Favid rather is is apparently getting completely shit faced.
Yep, he's face first in the mug right now. Well,
Okay, so I'm assuming you're.
no, not.
I'm assuming you're taking another chunk.
Yes, definitely. He likes this one.
That's another DC 12.
Oh shit! Come on, please don't die. Uh-oh. That's a 6.
Oh boy. As you take another huge chug and gulp down the drink, this time this time hotter than the first one. You feel as if the creature that pounced on you on the first chug is still on top of you and claws in and digs their claws dig in deeper into your chest and they rip your jugular off. That's what it feels like now. As you're nearly spit back what you chugged down because of how horrifyingly strong it is. And uh, then you also realize after that painful sensation down your throat and through your chest, you smell the aroma of the drink, and it burns your nostrils.
But I'm not dead.
And Mar, Favid doesn't notice this. Mar, you see Favid's cheeks are already like blushing really bad. His yeah, he's instantly shit faced. That's what I'm saying. After the second chug.
Okay, so Maar, knowing her partner, uh, shakes her head and looks toward the barmaid that that the guy had been talking to earlier. Excuse me, do you know where we could find a place to rest?
Am I?
So you speak to Miriam, the barmaid earlier.
Wait,
Okay.
what?
So she.
As she says this, hold on. I'm gonna roll a dice again. He just goes, I don't need to rest. I'm fine.
As you speak and grab the attention of Miriam, she looks back at you from these as she was looking into the barrels, basically putting in casing in the barrels because these barrels hold in clean dishes. She looks back at you, and her attention stares at your friend Goliath right next to you, as Favid did say that he doesn't need rest. And
And Maar doesn't dignify Favid's
you were
come
saying?
on words. Come on.
Playing drunk characters is so fun.
Well, words are not coming to me at the moment, so I'm just gonna kind of put it to
Okay.
Mar doesn't bother answering. Favid doesn't deem the protest worth answering.
Okay. So as the barmaid sees the two of you, especially looks at Favid, who's already shit faced after two chugs from the huge mug, she goes to the kitchen as well. Not really like enter the kitchen, more like she pops her head, like slightly open the door, pops her head into the kitchen, and you see, you hear like a faint conversation happen between the bartender and the barmaid. You can't really make out what they're talking about, but it sounds like they're shouting at each other because like they can't hear each other for a weird reason. Probably because of the dishes being washed and the noise in the background in the tavern, which I'm certain I have something prepared for. Hold on, is it this?
Yeah, it's that sounds more like a city street.
Yeah, it does sound like more like a city street. Oh. Okay, so as the barmaid comes back and hesitantly she says, "Well, yes, we do have a place for you to rest in, but it's it's not really this establishment. Currently, uh, Mr. Mr. Pete holds two establishments, and currently you are in his tavern, and the next establishment right next to it is a place you could stay in. He, he didn't want to make a tavern an inn, but yes, you do have a place to stay in. It's basically right next door."
And Mar inclines her head a little bit. Thank you for your help.
And as you thank her, she kind of smiles and like shies away and continues to do her work. So is Favid taking another chug?
I think a dice roll will decide that. Oh yes, he's taking another chug.
Okay, another con save, DC 12.
15.
You save. Uh, as you've taken like a very horrifying and painful sip, you already accustomed yourself to the burning sensation, and the next one, even though it's much more painful than the second, it did not phase you. You know what to expect on that drink now, and as you both uh, enjoy your drink and meal, uh, human heavily armored and heavily armored and weapon stacked human sits by a seat, sits on a seat, one seat apart from Maar, and noticed the entire thing that had happened. The barmaid shying away from Mar's gratitude, and the human whispers to your direction. Ah, that barmaid seems to be interested in you.
Who's?
Miss
Oh.
Dragonborn.
And who might you be?
Well, I am a guard of Sir Sindelian, and my name isn't that much of importance since that I am of just a guard, but if you must, you can call me Advent. Advent Night Eye, one of his uh, right-hand men.
You hear Favid from like behind Mar saying, Evil, what? Huh?
like I said, my name doesn't matter. What matters is,
Mar just reaches up and pats David's head like you would a child. Like, don't worry about it.
what matters is for you to tell me about yourselves, since my employer here saw you at the front of the door and took interest in the two of you. Actually, since you're not the common type of adventurers, as you can see around here, half elves and humans. Uh, since how do I put this? He has a quest, and he doesn't trust the common adventurers. He trusts the ones that has come far and wide, basically, not those who are just from around here.
And what would this quest entail?
Well, I'd like to be more in detailed about the quest itself, but I'm just a messenger, and I'm just here to invite you over to the table of my great employer, Sir Sandelian.
If you pay us for more booze, I'll do it. And there's a slight slosh from the mug that spills onto the counter.
Mar quickly shuts David up.
And
Here's a
Sir
question.
Sandelian.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
This is more for Hex. Would Favid be able to
Excuse me.
sober himself up to a degree, like when he knows that he has to, or that like it's needed at this moment?
I think he'd need a little bit away from the alcohol, like maybe a few minutes.
If
'Cause it's very strong.
If Favid actually wanted to sober up himself, he'd be that would just be him stopping on drinking and like, I don't know, wake himself up with a slap to the face, which I would just ask you to basically just roll like a basic con, not a con save, just a normal con roll.
Well, he wants to finish his mug first.
Okay.
Wait, how much of the mug is left?
You've already chugged like 3 times, so there's like, it takes about 1, 2, 5 more chugs to finish the entire thing.
Oh.
Yeah, you're not halfway done.
All right, so Mar and Favid have been partners for a while at this point, so I'm gonna kind of take a little bit of creative license and say that they've probably got a system worked out for like of like phrases and such for, like, you know, code phrases and such. You know what I mean?
Code words for each other. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd allow that. You're
Yeah,
partners. Of
that's
course
good.
you would. It's like Caleb and Not.
So, at this, Mar is Maar is going to kind of address Favid and
Oh my gosh. Hold on. There's a lot of things going on, and I hate it that it's.
The noble's phone is blowing up right now.
Yeah. Please continue.
so Maar turns to Favid. It would seem that there's another target in our sights.
David looks very kind of like not at her, but like annoyed. And he kind of he sets the mug down off to the side, puts his forehead in his hand, says, "All right, I'm listening."
Maar nods and then walks over to where the guy went. Because he walked away from our table, right?
No, he hasn't actually. Hold on a sec. Let me. Grab something first. There we go. Okay. Advent Night Eye is actually right here. You can see. And as you seem to take interest in his words, he's gonna hop off the counter chair, and he's going to basically gesture to you to follow him, and he's going to walk beside his employer.
This man is eternally stuck in a sitting pose.
Not really. That's not really a sitting pose.
Oh,
Which one?
just never mind. I'm trying to remember how to do like the segment move thing. How do you do that, Dark?
Click and drag, click, drag, and then use the right click.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, as you follow human guard, he's going to direct you over to this chair. Currently, there's only one in front of the noble because that's what's been set up on this table. Just two chairs for the table.
Okay.
So Maar isn't gonna sit down and kind of just stand just to the side of the chair.
Okay, well, we'll probably just have Maar here, and as you've both settled in, the human guard will whisper over, lean and whisper to the elf noble, and the distraught elven noble that is distracted with playing by playing with his food pipes up and with a instantly fixing his posture and smiling at the two of you. He says, yes, I feel relieved. Well, my name's Sir Sandelian, and as my guard has told you, I have a quest, and I only request for adventurers from far and wide, and obviously you both look the part, since none of you are akin to myself or to my guard, who are from around here or from nearby, much like every other adventurer in this establishment. Let me go into full detail of the quest I'm giving or hiring for. If you do not know, I I am a noble, and specifically, the reason why I am is my family business, in which we collect artifacts from uh, old crypts and dungeons from far and wide. But currently, uh, as you can see, there's only one guard with me. Actually, there's about 5 of them, and the leader is here, my right hand, Advin. Sadly, in one of the crypts that we've explored and went down on, we've encountered these heavily armored and oddly dressed skeletons, which instead of a skull, actually, some of them, at least, have plant-like vines covering or making up what their head is. Sometimes gourds make up their heads. And as you can tell, I've lost my great men, 4 of them, to in the crypt. To be honest, it is a very depressing sight and a very traumatic sight to see my men killed and outright mercilessly, brutally dismembered in front of me. I've already sent in compensation for the loss of their families to their respective houses and towns of where they belong, and the sad news. But that's all I could do after that accident, that event. And I've thought to myself, might as well hire some adventurers, since though there is not much difference. It's just adventurers are much more skilled. And if I don't actually bring something home to our estate, that would be a great disgrace to the family name. So, if you could please, as much as you can, at least that retrieve an item from 4 of my employees or guards, and as well as at least take in about as much as 2 artifacts from that place. Hold on a sec, please. Hold on a sec, I'll be right back.
Well,
this is pretty fun so
Yeah,
far.
I'm glad I did this at 3 a.m. Playing D&D at 3 a.m. Not clickbait. He almost killed me. Uh, I was hoping I could get one more drunk liner in there. But no, quest man's got a quest. So what is your character's class again? I don't think I heard it.
I am a rogue 4, sorcerer 1.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend I know what that means.
I'm a level 4 rogue and a level 1 sorcerer.
Oh, jeez. I guess you're the cooler member of this party. Oh, I'm just a ranger again. I'm not.
Well, the whole sorcerer thing also plays into my background a bit, so.
I'm not. I'm not even a Drake Warden this time. I felt like being a Drake Warden is a bit wasted on a one shot. There's not as much time for awesome, you know, Drake shenanigans.
Touche.
Did I put my thing as? Hold on. Features and traits. Ah, he's a hunter archetype. Okay.
Interesting.
He's good at perception, survival, and nature. Uh, and he favors undead, just like David does. Natural spore, fighting style, archery. I feel like for a one shot, you don't get too flashy with things. You just be good at killing things. That's it.
Yeah, but a little flavor never hurts.
Well, nothing says flavor like an arrow to the brain.
Touche, touche. I know, my sound effects are awful. And D&D Beyond and D&D Beyond apparently has a internal server error.
Oh, mine's still working fine. Maybe I should add some things. Oh, there we go. Now it's a problem because I tried to update something. Well, I hope it fixes itself in time to do this. I do not have a screenshot of my character sheet. Oh dear. Ace is gonna get back, and then we won't be able to continue this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He was explaining that he was requesting for you to bring in 4 things which correspond to each guard and 3 artifacts. And he's going to specifically state what each guard has. And excuse me. As you can see, each guard actually has specific badges on their clothing as insignia of their position and rank. Even though they are all my guards, they are all ranked members of, or ranked soldiers that are under the command of my household. And as you see, Sendelian points to the badge that is on top of Adven's armor, and it's a triangle with a. It's a gold triangle with a very distinct vase or vase in it, which and additional to it, it also has leaves and vines engraved into it, along with the distinct vase engraving in the middle. Each guard has their own badges in similar design to this triangular one. The difference is the material they're made of. So my highest ranking guard with me is Advin with his golden badge, and I have 3 silver badge guards right under Advin, and below them a new recruit. And their badge is made out of copper. And as for the artifacts, there's not much specific for what I'm looking for. I guess old old books and relics, maybe even scrolls of magic or scriptures from that place would be fine. And just so you don't get lost going to the crypt, here's an additional copy of the map that I've already sketched out myself, prepared for, obviously, you. And he hands down rolled up parchment onto you, sliding it towards you the table.
All right, Maar takes it and looks at it.
And the map specifically starts on this village with a red circle, and its lines head towards towards a what do you call it? Its lines basically goes through a specific forest right outside, or like a 20-minute walk outside of this village, and through the forest there's also a bridge and a lake that you had to go to, and at the very further depths of the forest there will be this
Back in a
odd
sec.
odd looking stump which is crossed.
Ace, you said she'd be back in a bit.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
continue.
It's fine.
I can continue explaining it, and I'll just repeat it later. So, crossing the bridge, the red line dots towards this odd-looking drawing of a tree stump, and in the tree stump is on the tree stump specifically is a red cross. As you can see, the crypt isn't really far, which doesn't make the traveling itself any much of a problem. But the crypt itself on the inside is... I really need to drill this into our conversation. I am really sorry that I am repeating times. The crypt is very dangerous.
We've handled plenty of dungeons in our time.
Ooh. I think I've been sitting down too long. My back's just starting to hurt is all.
So you want to repeat everything for Dark? Oh, well, he's muted, I guess. Up at 5 a.m. doing a one-shot. Oh boy.
And my back's starting to hurt.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I just, I'm gonna need to go lay down fairly. Ooh. Ah.
I might need to go lay down soon too.
Oh, right there, yes. Ah. So maybe we'll ask Ace if we can
Yeah.
continue, because if we can continue later today or something, because I need to lay down because my back is starting to ache.
That sounds fine.
Okay, I'm back. I heard what you're talking about. Yeah, sure, we can continue on later, but I'm not certain how later because, it will be like midnight for me, if that's what you mean about later.
I mean, I think me and Dark are gonna go to bed for maybe 8 hours. So.
Well, I mean, maybe for you.
Wait, oh yeah, you only sleep 4 hours ever. You absolute freak of a human. Alright, fine. I'll get a 4-hour nap and then I'll come back. How about that?
Okay, so what time?
4 hours from now, would be 9 p.m. for you, maybe? I think.
Yeah, it will be 9 p.m. for me.
Is that good?
4 hours from now will be 7 in the morning.
Yeah, 9 in the morning for me.
Okay, well, I was about to say we could leave it off of here, so you can, like, on the next time you can start on your journey.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Alright.
It's just that there's been a lot of things. There's a lot of people entering my room and asking for some stuff.
Okay. Sounds fun. Alright. See you
Okay,
guys.